know that saying, when you know better, you do better? That. Hey y'all, Nancy here, and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a story time, as you can see, based off the title. If you are new here, please just go ahead and take a second to subscribe, and you're my bestie, so welcome. And let's get right into it. So, girl fight in Vegas. Oh my God, y'all. The story happened years ago, and one of the girls I was friends with, she was like, Nancy, I'm thinking about doing my birthday in Vegas. And I was open to it because I did my birthday too, also in Vegas, but I went with my boyfriend at the time, and we had a wonderful time. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I'm down. Like, I'll go. So she was like, all right, cool. So I'll go ahead and add you to the group chat. And mind you, it was like 7 of us that went. So, you know, she was like, just go in the chat, like, just introduce yourself so that, you know, you guys can kind of get familiar with each other prior to the trip. I'm like, okay, cool. So I just remember, like, in the beginning, and I would just call them girl A and girl B. Those are the 2 people that got into the fight. I just remember in the beginning, girl A and girl B, there was some animosity between them. And I don't think they had known each other prior to the trip, but it was just some animosity. Because sometimes I just feel like certain personalities just do not mesh well with. So when we were doing our introductions, I could just tell, like, girl A and girl B, there was just some friction there. But I didn't think too much of it. I was just like, whatever. So fast forward, we get to the airport. So we, you know, the time for the trip has come, and so we go to the airport, and I get there, the birthday girl gets there. We actually rode together, I remember, because I went to her place and we got an Uber together. Everything was fine. And so then we get to the airport, and the other people come or whatever, and I just remember that what girl B was running late, and I just remember, like, girl A was like, well, she can just catch up with us later, like, let's go through security, we don't want to miss our flight. So it was just crazy because as soon as she said that, the girl showed up. So we go through security, we go to the gate, we're waiting. We get on the plane, we do our boarding, and we sit in our seats, and girl A and girl B get on they coincidentally end up on the same row. So girl A is like going like this, excuse me, to get a flight attendant so she can change her seat. Mind you, girl B is pissed. She's like, you know, kind of like, you think you're too good to sit on the same row as me, girl? So girl A does get her seat changed, and when she gets up to move, she moves like towards the front. When she gets to move, girl B is pissed off. She's like, that's what the hell I'm talking about. She always got it, like, what's wrong with her? I don't even know her. Why she got beef with me? And I'm like, oh my God, please just get us to Vegas. Like, I don't want any problems. I don't want them to throw us off this plane. I don't want these girls to fight. I was thinking anything that could go wrong. Like, no fly list. Like, I'm over here being dramatic. So I go in my purse, I get my Bible. Yes, I get my Bible out and I start praying. And the girl next to me was like, are you praying? I was like, yes, I'm reading the Bible and I'm praying because, listen, no, okay? We're not having this. And so we end up landing in Vegas. And so we go to the hotel. We get an Uber, we go to the hotel, whatever. So we check into the hotel, and she's like, hey, Nancy, birthday girl was like, hey, Nancy, you know, I know you don't know anyone. I'm just going to split us up, you know, have us our room assignments. Because there was 3 rooms. And there was like 7 of us. There were 7 of us there. There was 3 rooms. And she was like, you know, I'm going to make sure I put everybody who I know could get along in a room together based off y'all's personalities. I'm like, okay, girl, I'm gonna see what you got. Don't put me in a room with no crazies. And so, actually, I ended up being in a room with a really cool girl and one other girl, very quiet. So, and then the other 2 girls, girl A and girl B, they were also in separate rooms as well because she knew that they didn't like each other. So after that, like, me and the other girl that I was with, we were just talking or whatever, and we just like, let's go do some sightseeing or whatever, like, you know, but not too far away from the room, just in case they decide they want to go somewhere tonight. So we leave, and like an hour or 2 later, she's like, hey, y'all, you know, y'all, we're gonna go to this club called Tao, and y'all, if y'all want to come home, you know, let's say come back to the room, take a shower or whatever, and then we can all head out together, you know, just letting y'all know. So we head back to the room, we shower, we having a good time, we listening to music, we laughing, dancing, whatever. So we all get dressed, and we all get the Uber or whatever. And mind you, we took 2 separate cars. That's how we traveled. We took 2 separate cars, and we get to the club. person B, no, yeah, person B can't get in for whatever reason. So she puts in the group chat, hey, y'all, I can't get in. I'm leaving. Are y'all just going to stay? And everybody is just like, we just got here. And this club was like, I believe that club was like really hard to get in or whatever. I don't know. It was just like, that club was actually pretty cool compared to the club the next night. I'll get into that. But we ended up leaving because we were like, we felt bad. And so, but when we left, we was like, hey, girl, we're going to go to this place. She wasn't responding. She went back to the room. She was like, oh, I went back to the room after we had already left. So, like, the birthday girl was kind of pissed. And then the other girl was just, in that situation, she didn't really do much. But the birthday girl was annoyed. But we ended up going somewhere else. I forgot the name of it. And that was the end of that night. We kind of felt like that was really selfish that she did all that just so she could go back to the room. But whatever. So the next night, we ended up going to another place. This is where Migos was performing that night. It was packed. It was when Migos were performing, and like this is kind of when I knew this trip is going to be very interesting because of what happened this night. So we all get into the club. We're all sitting. We're talking. But I knew that the energy was so off too. Like the vibe was just like so off. Like, you know how when you with people and you can just see that the energy is very somber. It's just, I don't know. It's just not something that I was feeling. So I was like, if this doesn't get better, I'm gonna go back to the room. That's what I was thinking. So we were just like chilling, and then I'm like, can y'all? This is when I used to drink. I was like, do y'all want to just take a shot? So we all took a shot, and then the person B got up. And she was like, I'm about to go, go move around, be with some ballers or something, find some ballers. And we were just like, okay. And so she got up and she was like, who's coming? And then one other girl went with her, and they were walking around. They found some people, whatever. And then we were just chilling. And then girl A was like, I'm going to the restroom. And I was like, I'm gonna come. So we was in the restroom and we were just talking. And she was just really upset. Her mood was really down. And she was just like, yeah, I'm really irritated. I'm annoyed. Like, I want to fight that bitch. Like, she was saying this. I'm like, girl, chill out. So the girl walks in, girl B. She's drunk. And she's just like, stumbling. And like, she goes to the stall. She looks at us. She notices us. And she looks away. And she goes to the stall. Then she come back and wash her hands. And she looks at us again. And she walks out. And girl A was like, did you see that shit? She was like, all right. All right. And I'm like, girl, what does that mean? Stop. And so we go back out into the party, the club or whatever. So then the birthday girl, I found her and we just started walking around or whatever. The place was huge. It was really nice too. It was really big. And walking around or whatever. And I'm like, girl, happy birthday, but this vibe is not it. I'm about to call an Uber and I'm about to bounce. Because, yeah, this is not it for me. And I just need to remove myself. And she was like, okay, Nancy, I respect that. So I got an Uber and I left. And I went back to the room. And when I sat in the room, it was just me by myself. I sat in there and I was just like, I was just thinking, I was like, maybe it wasn't the best decision to come, But it was already said and done. I was already there. We had just 2 more days. Well, we had Sunday night and then Monday morning we were back to Houston. So fast forward to the next day, Sunday, we went to brunch. So we were all there at brunch. Brunch was cool. We had a good time. And then girl B ended up leaving early. And then we split up to do sightseeing and stuff. Like, different people want to do different things like excursion, the dirt bikes, the 4-wheelers, whatever, and shopping. I wanted to go see like the different hotels and like the mall and the shopping centers and stuff like that. So we did that, and then later in the evening, we went out to another club. It was a performance. I forgot the man's name. I know. So we all walked in. Then we ended up separate. We all went separate. Like it was like 4 different groups separate, and we were just chilling, having a good time. And then we get back to the hotel. But we kind of was like, why are we separated? Like I remember I asked her, I was like, why we? But whatever. So we get back to the room. And not the room, we get back to the hotel, and I was like, hey, y'all can just go. I'm gonna stay down here for a little bit. I want to make some phone calls, do FaceTime. And it was always so loud in the room, so I was just like, I'm just gonna, because they were playing music all the time, which I don't mind. But I was just like, I want, just some time for me right now. I've been with y'all all day, you know, just some time for me, and then I'm gonna meet y'all up there. And so I was just like, you know, on the phone talking, taking my pictures, my video, whatever. And then the group chat goes off, and it's like, what are y'all doing in 904? We were all on the same floor, just our rooms were next to each other. And I just remember it was floor 9. I remember that. My intuition at first wanted to ignore it, but then I was like, no, something's going on. So my intuition told me to go up there and see, because it was just like a whole bunch of like, what's happening? What are y'all doing? Everybody okay? Like, so I get to the 9th floor, get off the elevator, get on the 9th floor, and I just hear like screaming. I hear yelling and screaming. And I go up to the door, 904, I knock on it. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? And they're like, who is it? I'm like, it's Nancy. It was like, they were like bodyguards, guarding the door. And I get into the room, and I'm like, all I can see is like hair. Like, I see girl B, because she was like the tall, skinnier one, and she was like pulling girl's A hair across the room. I'm telling you, I walked in, her hair was like across the room. Then the other girl, she was like going like this, punching her on her sides, like her, you know, her ribs and stuff. And I'm like, are y'all just watching this? And they were like, oh, we tried to break it up already like 3 or 4 times. They want to fight. And I'm like, y'all really doing this? I don't break up fights. So that was out of the question. So I was just like, wow, they were really fighting. Bitch, that's why I make my money, you bitch. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, it was bad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I left. I was like, I left. I went back to the room that I was assigned to, and the other girl was in there. And I was like, you know they're fighting next door, right? And she was like, yeah, I know. That's ridiculous. I was like, yeah, it is ridiculous. And we was just sitting there talking. And I was just like, I just hope the police don't get called. I hope nobody gets put in the ambulance. I just was like, you know. But like some time went by, and the birthday girl came into the room, and then the other girl that was in the other room came in. And she was telling the birthday girl what happened. And the fight by that time was over. And I just remember like that night, that was the final night we were there, because in the morning we went home. I just remember like that night it was quiet. The birthday girl was really upset. She did start crying at one point. And she was like, wow, like these people like have sabotaged my birthday. Like every moment I try to have with them, they always find a way to sabotage it and ruin it. And I'm like, why do you keep them around? You know, and she was like, we just have a history as friends. And I'm like, okay, girl. But yeah, I was like, let me get some rest, because we had our early flight. So I just remember like that morning, it was so quiet in the Uber. Like nobody was talking. We had separate Ubers, but in ours, nobody was talking. It was completely quiet. And we got to the airport and we boarded our flight, and we went our separate ways. Well, I had to save the birthday girl because my car was at her place. So we were talking, but I could tell she was really sad. She was upset. She was just like, I don't know. It was crazy. Yeah, that was the girl fight, y'all. It was scary. It was like really scary, because it was like really fighting. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. But that's the story time, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.